How's it going? Welcome to a brand new video here on my channel, and it says none other than Tomb Raider 2, and I'm actually playing it on the Mac, and there's not really any reason for that. It's just the kind of system of choice at the minute, if you like. But yeah, I really felt like playing Tomb Raider 2 and talking a little bit about it, because this game is actually coming up to being 20 years old this year, because it was released in 1997, and I think there's definitely a lot I have to say about this game, at least. And I played the trilogy, at least, you know, the first 3 games when I was younger, and they to me will always be the kind of real Tomb Raider games, even though lots of people like the 4th and 5th games as well, but to me, for the 4th game and the 5th game kind of, to me personally, it was when Core Design kind of, they tried to add too much to the original recipe of the first 3 games, and I think the best Tomb Raider game ever made was probably this one, Tomb Raider 2. And as you've probably seen, I've been playing a lot of Rise of the Tomb Raider lately, which is the newest Tomb Raider game. And that's the first Tomb Raider game I've played since Legend. Because the only Tomb Raider games I've actually played were the first 3 games, and then after that I didn't play another Tomb Raider game until Tomb Raider Legend on the PS2, and Tomb Raider Legend was awesome in my opinion. I really enjoyed that game, but Rise of the Tomb Raider, I think it is actually pretty much, I mean, I went in, before I even thought about playing the game, I was thinking, I just had such a negative opinion just as one of these people that played the original games, but then eventually I got an open mind towards it, and yeah, I was just showcasing the skybox there, which is not the best thing about Tomb Raider 2, to be honest. I think if there's one thing Tomb Raider 2 could have done better, it's the skies. But yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I played it, and honestly, I think it's one of the better Tomb Raider games, definitely. And it really only makes me happy to think that there are still good Tomb Raider games being made out there today, so that's good. But yeah, Tomb Raider 2 is probably the best Tomb Raider game ever made, and this is the very first level, which is the Great Wall, which is of course set in China, and it's kind of the main thing that kind of sticks out about the original. The main thing that kind of sticks out about the original 3 games, and especially this one, well, not especially this one, but this is a good example of it. The games kind of feel very lonely, I find, and they kind of come across as a little bit kind of slightly depressing in a way, because they have this very lonely feeling, but the thing about Tomb Raider 2, I think, is that it's a very well-balanced Tomb Raider game, and what I mean by that is there's just a good mix of everything. Like, you've got lots of platforming, which is very, very creative at times, and especially for the time it was brought out, and then you've got the, I mean, one of the main things that kind of sticks out for me, I think, is the fact that the actual environments are very well mixed, and you have lots of natural environments, but then at the same time you also have lots of city locations and kind of high-tech kind of layers and things like that, and I think that that's one of the main things that I like about this game, the fact that you're not just constantly in natural environments. Like, I kind of get that feeling in Tomb Raider 3, and I guess kind of in Tomb Raider 1 as well, but Tomb Raider 2 just kind of has it perfect. Like, you have the Great Wall, but then you have Venice, and then also you have the offshore rig. But then of course you go back to Tibet later on and stuff like that. But then there's the enemies, I think, as well, which is another example of how well mixed this game is. Like, you don't just have animals in their natural environments, you also have lots of henchmen and stuff like that. And I think you definitely have probably slightly too many henchmen at times, but it's definitely a lot better than Tomb Raider 3, in my opinion, where most of the things you actually attack are animals. But one of the great things about this, about games from this era, is the fact that you don't really have much of an explanation of why you're actually in places or what you're doing. So, and it's kind of it's of the era where games would have a CGI sequence as the game loaded up, and then as you start the game, as you saw as well, where we dropped into China. But pretty much the story of this game is that you are supposed to be there's this artifact which is a dagger, which is an ancient artifact which holds lots of supernatural powers and that kind of thing. And what you eventually find out is that there's this cult called, I think it's Flaminero, which basically means black flame. And it's kind of like the Illuminati in a way. It's pretty much a similar kind of thing. It's just like a cult that is whose intention is ruling the world and kind of taking over and, you know, harnessing supernatural powers and that kind of thing. And you're pretty much against a guy called Marco Bartoli, who is trying to harness these powers, etc. But what I'm actually showing here is something which I never ever knew about when I was younger, and it's actually where the third secret is, the golden dragon, I think the secret is. But you basically drop down here, and it acts kind of like an Easter egg, because there are two T-Rexes in this area, which of course is kind of like a callback to the first game. But yeah, it's really weird because it really kind of it doesn't fit in with the rest of the level, in my opinion. But yeah, I guess core design kind of just added that as a I think it was a pretty weird decision to add that in the very first level of the game, but I guess it is what it is, and it's kind of cool. I mean, you can I don't actually know if you get anything from killing them, but I just decided to run away just because I just didn't see the point in actually attacking them, pretty much. But I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to play through the entirety of this game, and at some point I might use a better microphone, because I do have some better microphones. I have a Rode microphone, and I also have the Samsung Meteor mic, and they're both really good mics. But I thought for this part I would just use my iPhone earbuds microphone, just because it was an easy setup. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing through this game and just talking a little bit about it. And I've actually already played through 2 levels with my brother, and we were talking about the game. We played through Bartoli's hideout, and which is a really good level. And we also played through my favorite Tomb Raider level, probably of all time, which is Bartoli's Opera House. And I really love that level. I think there's something about it. It's just one of those perfect video game levels. There's just nothing I would change about it. And maybe at some point I will, yeah, I'll get around to, I will definitely play through this game in its entirety and talk about it. But yeah, that's the end of this level pretty much. You do get attacked by two tigers here, but I just decided to just run to the end of the level because, yeah. But we get a cutscene.
Pardon me, if that was just your way of trying the doors for me.
With a Tommy gun on my keyring.
Though not anymore. So after you.
Somehow, you don't behave like you got a monk's blood.
I understand that somehow is in my favor. So indulge me about the dagger. I'd be indebted with your life.
These doors are waiting for the right one, the right time to arrive, and then the dagger's blade will honor the hearts of those who believe. So unless you pledge your loyalty as well...
And which one is that?
To the sins and fortunes of Marco Bartoli!
Perhaps not just yet, then. Aha, Gianni Bartelli, Via Caravelli, Venice.
So yeah, that's the end of the Great Wall, and it's a pretty easy level. But actually, what's interesting is the fact that it's actually it's not the easiest level out of the entire game. But yeah, that's the Great Wall, and the cutscenes are actually. I think the voice acting in Tomb Raider, in the first 3 Tomb Raider games, is very good. But the actions are kind of funny in comparison to the voice acting. But yeah, that wraps up this video. So yeah, until next time, goodbye.